Okay, we are live. I call the meeting of the Sanborn Regional School to order. Stand for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. All right. So do I have action on the minutes? People would like to move them together. We could do December 4th, 2024 and December 18th, 2024.
I make a motion to move minutes, 12/4/24. I'm sorry, 12/18/24.
Second.
Okay. Any comments? All in favor? All right, unanimous. And we do have, Laura have both been excused tonight. So that was all in favor of 5 of us. Okay, so I have manifest documents right here I'm signing. Tom, next part is all you. Nominations, resignations, and superintendent's reports.
Thank you very much. The following nominations, Pamela Harkey Ringelman for special education teacher at Memorial, and Paul Argyros, 6th grade math teacher at the middle school.
Motion to accept.
Sorry, I make a motion to accept.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Discussion first, right?
We don't usually discuss.
I just want to go on a record for myself. Typically Heather typically says motion to accept with regrets. And,
That's for resignations.
These are
For
nominations.
nominations.
oh, I apologize. Go ahead.
Okay,
I made a motion to accept
accept
the
the
nomination.
nominations. We had a second. All right, so all in favor? Okay.
Thank you.
Unanimous.
And then for resignations, we have Leslie Scarsaloni, business technology, Sharon Valdez, 6th grade mathematics, which we just filled, Charlene Lavoie, special education teacher, Dr. Troy Kennett, director of student services, and we have a leave of absence request for Kate Sherburne, the Bakey school nurse.
I make a motion to accept with regrets.
Second.
All right,
Discussion. Okay, so getting back to what I said, typically Heather makes a motion that says accept with regrets. And I think for the most part, everybody that's on the list today, I agree with except for one. And I don't think that somebody in a administrative leadership role, putting in a resignation during a time of turmoil, leaving employees under their charge, defend for themselves is respectable, and I won't be voting. And that's my position. That's not the position of anybody else on the board, and I haven't discussed this with anybody on the board. That's my personal position. So I'm going to abstain from the vote.
we have a motion, a second. All in favor? So we have Ken, Heather, myself, and Micah, and abstaining is Rick.
Thank you. So I have a superintendent's report, and I do just want to mention that we have an agenda item where I'm giving an update on the comfort dog. So for those of you who are here for that, I'll report out on that process at the next part. But for this evening, I just wanted to share with everyone that there are many questions about the ongoing investigation at the Bakey School. The most important part of the investigation is ensuring the integrity of the process so that the findings are objective and unbiased. While investigation is ongoing, we stridently maintain confidentiality to safeguard the integrity of the process. And because we are investigating alleged mistreatment of students, there is no amount of public pressure that will cause us to deviate from our commitment to complete a thorough and fair investigation. As I stated in my letter on November 19th of 2024, the district has hired an independent attorney to conduct an internal investigation into suspected abuse at the Bakey School. This investigator was in no way associated with the district prior to beginning the investigation, and even I will not be made aware of the full findings of the investigation until it is complete. The investigator has met with 21 employees and contracted providers and has already spent many hours reviewing records and preparing a comprehensive report. I want the investigation to be done properly, with integrity, and even if that means delaying the resolution of an unfortunate and stressful situation. We know that not being able to share information immediately can be frustrating, and it can feel like a lack of transparency. We're optimistic that the investigation will be complete soon and that the process of addressing the findings will be resolved during the coming months. My intention is to be as transparent as possible about what happened, as well as how we are addressing the behaviors and preventing this from occurring again. Here's a few points that I think need to be clarified. Number one, the school board is responsible for setting the policies of the district and hiring the superintendent as the chief executive to manage district operations. The superintendent is responsible for directing and supervising all employees in the district and has all the powers necessary to make such direction effective. However, while the superintendent has ultimate responsibility, they delegate supervisory powers and duties to other administrators within the district. While the school board is generally aware of what is happening relative to the district employees and may receive reports of a general nature regarding an investigation of this type, the superintendent is responsible for overseeing the investigation process. The district is obligated to provide its employees with due process in the context of their employment. Under several laws and procedures, the school board is required to serve as an appeals tribunal in the context of employment actions. That's a very fancy way of saying people might have an opportunity or a process available to them to appeal to the school board, so the school board has to remain objective. Placing an employee on paid leave during an ongoing internal investigation is typical and is not punitive in nature. Paid leave protects the investigation and the employee until the matter is resolved. As always, if you have any questions or information, I encourage you to contact me at tambrose@sau17.net or call the office at 603-642-3688. I may not be able to share much information about this process because it is a legal process. However, I will always listen to people's concerns and weigh that into the process and do any investigating that I need to do to help us to figure out any more information. I will provide another update as soon as I can, and we appreciate your patience as we continue to process this very complex matter. That's my superintendent's report for this evening. Thank you.
Do I have any subcommittee reports?
I do not.
Right. Well, then it looks like number one Thompson is up for the student council representative report.
Who, me?
It's you.
Number one?
Hey, I mean, I think we agreed on that last meeting. We can call you number one Thompson, so.
Your siblings know about that?
My mom does. I think it's normally Peter though. Anyway, starting in the middle school, they have a dance on February 7th. The week after that is the winter formal on the 14th, which will kick off the winter carnival week, and the pep rally will be held Thursday before we get out for break. For sports in the middle school, the girls team is still undefeated. The girls and boys just played a good double header at the high school. There was a lot of middle schoolers and parents out to support, and the boys also had a good win that night. The high school track team is about to get into their meet of champions and their qualifiers and all of that. There's a hockey game tonight. And then on Friday, during the boys' whiteout game, senior Chase Frizzell scored his 1,000th point, so that's very exciting. The end of the quarter is on Friday, and on the 31st, we're having our student celebration again. I'm so excited. And then next week, there's a sneak peek for the sophomores to go to SST. That's it.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Right, so moving on, so agenda item 6, first public comment. I just want to remind everyone that if you'd like to come up to the microphone and make a comment, we request that it be about an agenda item We can't talk about individuals on nomination lists, resignation lists. But other agenda items can be discussed. You just need to come up, state your name, the town that you live in, or if you're a parent of a student in the district or an employee of the district. Each person is allowed 3 minutes, and we allot 20 minutes total for comments before we move on. All right. Everybody's okay.
My name is John Shields. I was just, you mentioned that it's an ongoing investigation and you said that you didn't know how long, right? Is that what you said? We don't know when it's going to end?
Yeah. Yeah. So if you have questions about this topic, you should reach out to the superintendent's office, and they can help you out with that. But right now, we don't have any information that we can share right now.
All right.
As a board member, I don't have the information.
Right. I don't have it.
Yeah. So we don't have, I can tell you that as soon as I have information available, I'll be looking to make and help.
We'll
in
be
the
looking to
process, but
make.
I don't have the report yet. And we've asked for it and I think it's coming, but we,
Yes.
All right. Yeah. It doesn't seem right that you don't have the report or I can't get an answer here.
well, I'm just gonna, I think
this-
the
this-
process.
Well,
I
hold
can
on.
tell you the process from what I know from outside of this district takes 10 times longer than what it's taking today. We should have that report within the next week or so, this week or next week. And that's weeks in advance of what other districts have done. So believe me when I'm telling, I want the report more though than you do, because I signed on to this board to make sure the kids are safe, the teachers are safe, and the facilities are in order.
You know,
So I don't even know all the facts yet, but I
okay.
want them, and I want them as quickly as you do.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Great. There's no other public comment. We will move on to 7.1, prom committee's request to contact potential prom sponsors. And I believe there is a presentation, correct? So I can watch.
Remember doing this.
Sorry.
I remember having a presentation.
Oh,
But I didn't ask for sponsors.
I don't think your grade did this.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kaden Stevens, and I am the junior class's president. And today we are here to talk about our junior prom. So we are looking to have sponsors for our prom, and here's kind of a slideshow to explain. So first of all, our prom is going to be held at Ashworth by the Sea on May 15th. It's going to be under the sea themed, and I know that's not much, but it kind of adds to the fact. Thank you. Okay, so an overall amount of money we're looking to spend on our prom is about $16,000. So that's a lot of money. Here's kind of the breakdown of the different prices. So for our sponsors, we're looking for local businesses to ask sponsor our prom. So different ones, including like different pizza companies from around here, and we want to keep it very local. So the members of the prom committee would contact them directly, and how we would show our gratitude towards them is giving them thank you cards and incorporating them into our prom decor. So we're really looking to have sponsors at our prom because our prom is very pricey, and we're also doing other fundraisers and looking for donations, but sponsors would really help out. So that's all. Thank you.
Jen, can you go back to the first slide on the cost? Thank you.
And so I think what the group is hoping for is that we can get the maybe green light to go ahead and pursue some donation opportunities.
Yeah.
The policy bar us from.
So the reason they're here is because of KCD, public gifts and donations. I asked ahead of time. And they just want to make sure that before they go out. So I had them, I thank you, Megan, for reaching out ahead of time. She asked if it was appropriate to put the business names in the slideshow or not. She was concerned about, putting names up there and making people feel pressured to make donations that maybe they weren't in a position to make. And so I agreed with her that it was in best interest to keep it on paper so that we could take a look at the businesses they're looking to go to ask for donations. And then basically, so we had the information of who they're looking to get the donations from, because in the policy it says that, they need to be appropriate type of businesses for a
I'm looking at these.
So
And a lot of these are parents of junior class.
yes, so so that we could ensure that they were appropriate businesses for them to reach out to, so that when they did come back with donations that they need to get approved to use, they were all set, and they weren't going to have to go back and say, I'm sorry, we can't take a donation from you.
As a
Right.
parent of a junior classman, I am in agreement. It's expensive. They did not get to do a lot of fundraising due to COVID. So I make a motion to allow the junior class committee to ask for donations.
Second.
All right. Any comments? That was for the timer, but okay. So yeah, I just want to say thank you for, putting together the presentation and putting together the list. It's nice to see we have a lot of, local businesses. So it's, but I want to make it clear that no business should feel pressured to make a donation. I understand times are tough, and while things may seem great on the outside, the books may tell a different story. So, anyone can make a donation, that's fabulous. And if not, we completely, as a district, completely understand and respect that. So I guess at this point, if there's no other comments, all in favor? All right, unanimous. Thank you. Okay. Sanborn Submariners presentation. Now, Jim, can you keep this under 30 minutes?
Have 30 minutes?
No, you don't. It was a joke.
I'd be excited for a while. I was like, I probably could do that.
Was it 5?
5.
Maybe 6 or 7.
First of all, Dr. Ambrose and Mr. Malala and school board members, thank you very much for the opportunity to be able to speak with you in this particular forum. I have 3 students who are joining us today: Grace, Hayden, and Megan. So I'm going to turn it over to.
Hello, school board. My name is Caden Kanata. I'm a junior. I've been a part of the Submariners. This is my first year here. In October of 2024, the team did a refresher dive in Nubble Lighthouse in York, Maine. The conditions were a bit rough, but still were good for diving practice. We've also had 2 new members join the team and earn their scuba certification in November. We're grateful to have these members, as there's many people still looking to join this team and keep it going on for further years. Yesterday, we were visited by the 2025 Teacher of the Year, Candace DeAngelis, who has a mission to write a spotlight on a club or group that is lacking funding to help them get more funding from these news outlets publishing the article. She writes an article once per month highlighting some of the work that educators across the state are doing, and she wanted our submarine project to be her first article. And we showed her our submarines and demonstrated how they work and answered any questions about the team and the subs. I'm going to hand it over to Grace at this time.
Hi everyone, my name is Grace Gadway. I'm a sophomore here. I've been in sub club since freshman year, so this is now my second year. I'm one of the drivers of the sub, so I get to go underwater and have my scuba tank on. I'm working away at it. This year we'll be going to the races in June. It's the ISR, International Submarine Races. It's right around the DC, Delaware area, so we're very excited. We'll have 2 teams of 7 students racing 2 different submarines. Our old sub and our new sub, which is in the hall, which we're working on. We're very excited about it. Our new sub is more narrow, smaller, so we hope to gain speed. That was one of our issues at the ISR last year. We had a great plan. We had a great team. Our sub was just too big and bulky. We cut down inches on inches of each side, the length, and it's much better in my opinion. We also shrunk down our nose cone a little bit, which is like the top of the sub, like the front of it, where I look out and I have a nice little glass window and I look through those murky waters. Our new sub is 9 feet long with a 26-inch diameter, and our old sub was 30 inches with a 30-inch diameter and 11 feet long, so a lot more. We thank Dave Mindler, who is a boat builder in Maine. He built our mold and constructed the 2 halves of the hull, which we're so thankful for. He donated his time, his work. We're very thankful for him. He also helps us construct our surface planes, rudders, and an improved steering mechanism. That's pretty much where we're at right now. We're very thankful for him and all of our sponsors. We're doing very well. Thank you.
Thank you.
So the last thing is I want to say thank you to, there are several sponsors who really make this project happen. One of them is the Sanborn Seminary trustees, through their very generous financial donations have made this project possible. Without that, it would have been an idea. I also wanted to thank Mr. Edelman, who he sponsored the team last year with the team apparel, and we were by far the best dressed team we had. People had like all sorts of different things. We were perfectly matched up, and it was great. So it's not just about looking good. The kids felt good about it. They took pride, and it was a great experience for them. And so UniFirst Corporation, where Mr. Edelman works, is going to sponsor it as well. This year, we have twice as many students. I don't know. We might have to, they won't be able to get 12 shirts, so they'll get 6 shirts. I don't know. We got to figure all that stuff out.
And Ken's son also works there as well at UniFirst.
Great. Well, thank you. And
A good word.
great. I appreciate that. There are others who also make this very they make a significant contribution to it. Portsmouth Scuba continues to help us. They give us they let us use rental gear at a significant discount. The certification process would ordinarily be a much greater amount than what they charge us. They really only pass along their fees. And then when they have gear, as they're sort of updating their gear, so it's not old, but it's rental gear that still has a lot of life in it, but they've donated some of that to us as well. They do things like fill our tanks with very little charge, sometimes not a charge at all. Also, Darren Simonelli at D&D Machine in Seabrook, is someone I've known for a while, is the one helping us with the steering planes, rudders, steering mechanism, and then as Grace mentioned, Dave Milliner. The kids started with a sheet of plywood and built the plug with plywood stanchions every 6 inches, filled it with foam in between. From that, he created a mold, and from that mold, able to create the 2 halves of the submarine that's out there. And so if you've seen up close the old submarine compared to the new submarine, it's sort of a tremendous difference. The first submarine was great. We will be racing that as well. So we're going to have 2 submarines. But we want to take that. Part of this experience is the learning opportunity of looking at refined designs, different curvatures, different sort of mechanisms for steering. So am I at 5? I'm all done.
You did good.
It was pretty close, right? All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate the time.
Thank you.
And great job to your team. Yes.
Yeah.
The kids are phenomenal. I am so proud of everything that they do all the time. They are just pushing themselves outside of what's breathing underwater. It doesn't come natural. And dare I say that as a percentage of the student population, we probably have the largest population of certified scuba divers of students. We have 15, and that's a pretty big number, and of kids that are pushing themselves outside of their comfort zone. And they're learning about physics, they're learning about buoyancy, they're learning about all sorts of different principles, engineering, CAD, math. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, could you remind, I guess, everybody who's not familiar, you already went through a competition. You competed against collegiate teams.
Yeah, so there are about 19 teams. There were 19 teams in total, one of which was ours. There are some high schools that compete, and one of them is kind of like an SST program. And they compete against. We had University of Michigan, Virginia Tech had 2 teams. Texas A&M had a team. We had Florida Atlantic University. There was University of California at San Diego. There was a team out of Texas, another team out of Texas besides Texas A&M. There were teams from England, Poland, Mexico, which had to withdraw for some reason afterwards. But my point being that they're coming from all around. So the submarine races are held every 2 years in the United States in the odd years. During the even years, they're actually held in England, and it's a different course. So this attracts teams from all over the place. And you can have independent teams. So there was a father-son team who, when they arrived there, wasn't aware that you had to be 15 to enter the tank, and the son was 14. And they had a team of like 3 divers who had just earned their certification the weekend before. And if you've been certified for less than a year, the Navy requires that you do a checkout dive to demonstrate skills. And a couple of them didn't pass, unfortunately. They can still participate. They're on the surface helping bring the sub back to the start line. And in that case, so this is a competition, absolutely a competition, but it's really everyone's in it together. So we had students that from our team that helped out this other team that didn't have divers to help support them. The dad actually had to go inside and race and operate the sub. It was this cool looking thing, kind of like out of Star Wars. And the dad had to do what they needed divers. We had several divers that from our team that helped out. So, there were times when a team needed some more lead to weigh down their sub, or we needed to borrow a saw. Another team from Canada, or actually 2 teams from Canada, but one of the teams was grilling hot dogs, and they were like, come on over. And one of the greatest things was on the final day, the races finish up and they have an award ceremony, and we got second in our division, which was great. Half the teams don't even finish the race. We were the second team, I believe. The first team was University of Michigan, and they've been doing this for several iterations of the race. And we were the second team to successfully complete it. But at the after the awards ceremony, one of the race officials came to me and said, if we had an award for the one person out here that made the greatest contribution to the races, it would have been, and it was one of the students on our team. And I remember many times, there was one particular day where he said, hey, Enright, another team needs some divers. Okay, go ahead. So I saw him at breakfast. We went to the races. He's off. Comes back when when we're racing, and helps us. And he's off again. I probably saw him at dinner. He was in the tank the entire day, helping people out. And he emerged as a very strong leader on the team, and really helped out with the race officials. And they noticed that student actually, at the start of his senior year, was unsure what he wanted to do. Wasn't really sure. Tossing around some different ideas. Joined the sub team and decided that he wanted to do something related. And made the decision to go to Mass Maritime based on his experience with the sub team.
Nice.
That was your 5 minutes, not my 5 minutes.
No, that was my 5 minutes. It's okay. I don't need my 5 minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Right. High school overnight field trip on February 8th, 2025 for Jazz All-State.
Yes, that'd be Principal Mitchison.
The field trip, Jen.
Yeah, I'm coming.
She's like, I'm doing a
She's
million
on it.
things.
She's on it.
I need like 4 chairs for me, so.
Hmm.
All right.
So thank you. Unfortunately, our 612 choral director was unable to be here tonight. So I told him I would, seek permission for the 2 overnight field trip events that we would like to be able to have our students participate in. So the first one is in February, and that is the NHMEA Jazz All-State Auditions and Festival. And so the students have already gone through the audition process, which is not an overnight, but now have the opportunity to go participate in the actual festival after making the auditions. And just a little bit about it. It's a music festival for jazz ensembles in New Hampshire, and it's organized by the New Hampshire Music Educators Association. Students audition and then they perform at the festival, and they learn from conductors and clinicians. It's a big kind of state music event, and they do it not just with chorus, but band as well. This year, the festival is at Pinkerton Academy, so it's nice and close by, which is great for any families who want to attend or any friends of the students who are participating. It happens, they change locations every year, so this year it happens to be pretty close by. Any student from New Hampshire in music programs at schools can participate. And again, sometimes it varies. Sometimes the dates can vary in the location. But so this year it is over February 6th through the 8th. And again, it's at Pinkerton Academy. The music boosters are donating or covering the cost of the students to participate, which is minimal. It's not, it's a couple $100s to cover the student entry fees, but that's something the music boosters is going to cover. And the district cost to us is about $250. And then the second of the 2 festivals is in April, and this is the All-State Auditions and Festival. And so this is a series of concerts and performances, and it includes more than just jazz.
We don't have that in our drive.
We don't have.
Oh, you don't?
We only have the February one.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can wait then.
Do it in a couple weeks in February.
Yeah, we can do the April one in February. I apologize. I thought you had both. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself.
I thought I missed something, but then when Heather
Nope.
said she didn't, and I was like scrolling through.
No, sorry. I appreciate it. Like I said, I clearly am trying to be
You're trying to be on
cross
top of it.
off my checklist.
Proactive, Jen.
Yes.
Appreciate that.
But yes, I can come back at the next meeting.
Derry, are the students spending the night, or are they driving back and forth?
So part of like the festival is that they're required, the students and the participants and the director or, the whoever from the school is going, or the teacher are required to stay. So that's kind of part of like the festival experience is that they have long days of practicing and then they put on a concert. And so the premise really is they rehearse for a day, and then they perform after, and it's students from all over the state. So it's not like students who are used to performing with each other on the regular. So it's a really cool, unique experience.
Which one is the one we don't have?
The April one.
April one.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve the 2 students who have been selected for the New Hampshire Music NHMEA Jazz All-State Festival.
Second.
Any comments?
Congratulations to the 2 students.
Yep.
And I can share it's this year it's going to be River DeFio and Michelena Willis. So I did want to share that too.
Thank you to the music boosters.
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Right.
So
Thank
all-
you.
All in favor? Unanimous. All right.
Thank you very much.
All right. Yes, I'll have to sign.
We're an exchange
I
student.
have it right here, I think, in my folder. Okay, and then foreign exchange student.
Thank you very much. We have a student that would like to attend Sanborn on a foreign exchange, and per policy JFABE, the policy says that the board may waive tuition for these exchange students. I just wanted to mention that I'm not asking you to waive it. I'm just simply saying that you waive it. So my recommendation actually is that if someone wants to attend, that you should actually not waive the tuition. Right? They're attending, they're choosing to stay with the host family and attend our schools. And We typically don't waive tuition for non-resident students, but that's at the board's discretion.
And they're coming for, I'm trying to find it
For
in my
the-
drive.
For the
Thank you.
next year.
Oh, there it is. So for the entire, no, is it for the entire school year or half the school year?
Looks like,
No, it's the
yeah,
fall half year. Phyllis, is it
okay.
just a half year?
one academic semester.
Yeah, so we could do half if you wanted to do half. Maybe staying with Karen and Sean Foley. They've gone through the process of getting accepted and certified through the correct programs.
So what are we approving for the student to come?
No, all that, the board could waive the tuition. So we would need a motion to waive the tuition, or if no one makes a motion, the tuition will just stand. And where it's only one semester, I'd probably recommend a half year, right?
Yeah, you'd
Half
have,
year,
yeah, you couldn't charge them a full year. That's not fair.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the question I have is this. It's in Newton, so.
The family that.
The
hosts
family's
lives
hosting lives
but
in
it's
Newton.
Foreign exchange.
So the foreign exchange student's family would pay
Right, they
for
would
them
the
to.
tuition, not the-
I'll make a motion to charge one half of the normal tuition fees.
Thank you.
Second.
All right, any discussion? All right,
What are they? Is it in here? I'm scrolling.
it would be whatever the,
The
Whatever
rate
the-
is set annually once the
yeah,
budget's set.
so it'll be whatever it
So
is
it'll
for
be
next
roughly
school year.
until the numbers are in at the end.
Do you want me to
12.
amend? Do you want me to amend the motion?
No, I think
just
that's
want-
fine.
Yep.
Yeah,
All right.
good. All right. Any further comment? All in favor?
Hmm.
Heather? Were you in favor or not in favor? Okay, all right, so not in favor?
Of them paying the tuition.
Okay.
yes.
Okay, so Ken, Rick, Micah, and myself in favor, Heather not in favor. Okay, thank you. For the half, yes. Okay, acceptance of donations. So the Fidelity Grant for Sanborn Submariners.
Mr. Enright, would you like to talk about the grant?
I'm here to talk about the submarine team. 5 more minutes. So the Fidelity Grant is actually through Liberty Mutual, who provides a lot of community support for activities that align with traditional educational values and goals. In 2022, I was seeking some funding and sponsorship opportunities and was aware of Liberty Mutual's program in this particular regard. So I had applied for $2,500 grant, which they approved. The following year, 2023, I did the same thing for $2,500. But I had to do it early on, even though we knew that the team was definitely going to be larger. And just for comparison purposes, we had 6 certified student scuba divers for the 2023 races. We have 15 this year. Anyway, so when the opportunity came to apply for the grant again in this past fall, I applied for $5,000 and that was approved. And so it's a Fidelity grant, but it's through the Liberty Mutual Corporate Community Partnership Program.
I make a motion to accept with great thanks. When I did one of my internships, Liberty Mutual actually did their community partnership, worked with you to go out and collect donations. So I know Liberty Mutual does a lot to get their community, especially the Seacoast area.
Yeah, it is. It's a great program and very appreciative.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
All right.
bad.
Any comment?
Sorry, I thought somebody.
Any discussion? All right, other than Heather said, great, thanks. All in favor? Unanimous? Sorry. Did you have your hand up?
Yeah, I did.
Oh,
I'm in
sorry.
favor.
Yeah, you're in favor. Thanks. All right, so number 1, Thompson is also in favor.
That's the only vote that matters.
Okay, John and
I'm all set. Okay, thank you.
yes, thank you, Mr. Enright.
Thank you, Mr. Enright.
Good night.
John and Lara Blitzer?
Yes.
Yep.
I just
Oh.
wanted, I'm sorry.
You told me I was doing it. You can do it.
No, no.
All right.
I'm gonna cross.
All right. So yeah, around the first of the year, John Blitzer sent us a letter indicating that he and his wife Laura would like to make a $5,000 charitable contribution to the Sanborn Regional School District. In their words, they said we'd like the funds to be used to support kids in need. Examples would be kids in need of shoes, clothing, expenses for extracurricular activities, and anything the superintendent deems appropriate. We'd like to. We hope this helps take care of kids in the Sanborn School District. So just asking the school board to accept this generous donation.
I'd also just like to mention that the way this works is I collaborate with the school counselors. And then we spend the money to help kids. We typically focus on shoes, gloves, jackets, outdoor clothing for the winter time. But there have been other needs that have come up, and this money has been, this is I think the third, Phyllis.
I think it's
Even more, yeah. They've been wonderful.
They've done it every year since I've been.
Yeah,
on.
they used to own the building, the Christie building. And so they started donating money back to us from the rent in the Christie building. And then when they sold the Christie building, they saw what it did. They kept doing it. So I do keep the Blitzers updated occasionally about what we've been doing with the money, and we're incredibly grateful for it. Thank you.
Where does it go? Just like,
It goes to well, it's a grant, so it goes into an account, and so Mr. Malilic tracks the funds.
yeah.
And then the process that Mr. Blitzer and I set up when he made the first donation was that the process would be that the school counselors or administrators would reach out to me, and then I would approve the expenses, which is why the letter explicitly says that the superintendent deems, but really I work with the school counselors.
Yeah, no,
They know the kids.
Yeah.
So, but he tracks the money to make sure, and sometimes I'll say to Matt, how much is left in the Blitzer account? Can we
No,
do
that's
this?
good.
Can we do that? It's a
I just
great
want to make sure like it doesn't get pulled for other things. That's
Yeah. No, it doesn't go in the general fund.
Good.
Yeah, it goes into a specific, and it carries from year to year.
No, good.
So we actually have some money left from before too, so it really is great.
Good.
Thanks,
Fabulous.
Rick. Those were great questions to clarify.
I'd like to make a motion to accept and thank Mr. and Mrs. Blitzer. They, as I said, they've done this every year since I've been on the board, and it's really appreciated, and it does help our students here in the Sanborn district.
Yeah.
Second.
All right. Any discussion? All right, all in favor? Unanimous. Thank you. Okay, automobile cars for grads program, 2010 Mazda CX-9.
I'm back.
You're having a big night.
So for those of you who don't know, one of the when I first joined Sanborn, one of my favorite traditions that started here moons ago is the car scholarship program, and it's called Cars for Grads. And so what we do is we hope or sometimes reach out. Sometimes people contact us, but we look for lightly loved cars in need of some minor repairs, repairs that our own auto body shop and staff can handle doing. And those cars are donated to our scholarship program. So really it's like a scholarship. And this year we're lucky. This is the first of 3. So I will be back again to talk about the other 2, hopefully next month or the month after. So Mr. Kelly, who retired last year, typically handled a lot of this behind the scenes and in the scenes. This year we have a little committee that'll get together to, select the deserving winners. And usually we think of students who, for something like this, getting a vehicle would be like a life-changing event for them and really open some doorways that transportation would be a barrier for. So it's really fantastic. And it's always presented on class day. That's when we announce it in the morning before graduation. So it's great. So this year, the first car, Joe Rajevich is hoping to donate his 2010 Mazda CX-9. Has about 137,927 miles on it. Does need some minor repairs, but again, nothing that our shop they already have taken a look at it. A lot of times people set up a time ahead of time to have us take a look, and well, not me. I have nothing to do with that, but have people who know what they're doing take a look under the hood and make sure, there's no monumental damage. And even sometimes if there are, they'll let us ask if we want some parts and whatnot. But this is the first of the 3 for this year. And there have been years where we were barely lucky to get one, and it was a last minute anonymous kind of situation. And then this year we're lucky. There's 3.
That's fabulous. All right, do I have a motion?
I make a motion to accept and thank Karen and Joe.
Second.
Any further discussion? All right, all in favor? Fabulous.
Thank you.
Thank you to the Radjevich family. All right, Carlton Sockwell scholarship.
Yep, that's me. So we recently received a $5,000 donation to the Carlton E. Sockwell Memorial Scholarship. The donation was made by the scholarship sponsor and Carlton's brother, Kevin. So, we're asking the board to accept this donation, which will go to one of our seniors this spring. This is a reoccurring scholarship. So it'll be here hopefully in perpetuity. It was a generous donation from Kevin and
Absolutely.
the donors that he found.
And hopefully there'll be Ticonderoga pencils again.
Yes. Hi.
Make a motion to accept. Thank the Sockwell family.
Second.
All right, any further discussion? All in favor? Unanimous? Thank you. All right, television screen and stand.
Okay, Dr. Dawson, our athletic director, forwarded me a memo that says, members of school board, recently Sanborn Community Basketball was kind enough to donate a large screen TV and stand to our athletic department. While its immediate use will be for scouting of basketball games, it will also be used by our football team and perhaps other programs, as well as in our health classroom. The total value of the donation is approximately $125, and Dr. Dawson is asking the board to accept this donation.
Beyond like a rolling cart.
It's already
I would-
here.
What?
It's already here.
Okay.
It's like a TV on a stand that rolls.
Oh, okay. All right. I was trying to envision it in my head.
It's like a Roku TV. They connect their computers to it.
Nice. I make a motion to accept. Thank you, Sanborn Community Basketball.
Second.
Second, all right.
Like on a roll tonight.
I know. Any
Run with it.
any comments? All right, all in favor? Unanimous. Thank you so much. And then we have an anonymous donation for Bakey School for negative meal balances.
Yep. So prior to the holiday break in December, a Kingston family reached out to us expressing that they would like to make a $100 donation to negative meal balances at the Bakey School. The family wished to remain anonymous. They did send the check to the SAU, which I'd like to accept and then work with our food service director to apply that to negative meal balances at Bakey to, families who need it.
Absolutely.
Don't we already have a district fund set up for that?
Yeah. we do.
How do those go negative then? I guess how do we have a negative balance if we have a fund existing? I'm not trying to say no to the donation, obviously.
Oh, I mean, we have, well, I think that's probably a bigger question because our negative meal balances exceed that fund.
Mhm.
So, I mean, we have some fairly significant negative balances that I was actually thinking of bringing to the finance committee in February. So I think we may be circling back on that conversation as a committee.
So do we have kids that cannot eat?
No, they can all eat. Every student gets a meal.
Yeah.
No one has ever declined a meal.
Can't get extras.
You can't get a la carte. You can't go to the a la carte line and get chips and cookies and.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
if my kid runs a negative balance, they're not going to let him go and get like a Gatorade or, something. He can get food, but that's it.
Yeah, I'm like -50, but I get lunch every day.
So.
I love how you just throw yourself right under the bus there.
Do
Well,
I
how does
have
that, how does
Mhm.
that fund get?
That's
donations?
So can we stay?
Yeah, let's just
Let's
do
add
this
that.
one.
Let's add that because
Yeah.
conversation
Yeah.
with the
All right.
process.
Yeah, I want to
But
get,
that's not the agenda. I'm just trying to stay.
Right, no,
But
yeah.
it's fine. We should just talk about it and structure that. right? Because just to be clear for the public, what we've done is if you fill out the free and reduced form and you don't qualify for free and reduced lunch, but you still can't pay for it, there's a process to talk to our business administrator about accessing those funds. The problem is people aren't filling out the free and reduced lunch forms. And so that is why, so it's a complicated thing that we can explain the whole process and everything. So we do have quite a bit of money that would be available, but the problem is that they're filling out the forms to access it.
So maybe we add it as an agenda item when we present, like what's in the fund next meeting and then how to access it. And,
I think that's a great idea. I just wanted to stay on the topic of.
I got it.
I make a motion to accept the anonymous donation for the balance in the amount of $100 to this.
Second.
All right. Any further discussion? All in favor? Unanimous? All right, Mr. Malula, warrant articles 2025, 2026.
Yeah, so the warrant articles are just brought to your attention because at our last meeting, we read them. There were motions made to maybe tweak the language, but we didn't actually have the final document. So the final document is there, which I need everyone to sign tonight. And I know Mr. Nelt has already signed it. I'll have to catch up with Ms. Bashaw as well. But just wanted you to know that any changes that were recommended at our last meeting in December were made. And we also had to add in the vote of the budget committee. Though we didn't have those at the previous meeting. So they're now finalized, and just wanted to bring that to your attention. And we'll be presenting them in a couple of weeks at the deliberative session as well. So really just an FYI, and also to remind us to sign them tonight.
Perfect. And there,
One quick comment about the budget committee. All the warrant articles were supported by the budget committee. And so I just think it's important for everyone to know that.
But we don't need to re-vote on any.
no,
We've already voted.
Okay.
this was just, these are the updated based on our comments, and we just have to sign off on them.
Okie dokie. That's easy.
All right. Policy DFA investment. This is something that we annually approve, so nothing crazy or out of the norm.
Yeah, and I reread the policy because it was on it's something that's been on the agenda. Some policies state that you have to approve them annually. This actually states that the board will periodically review it. So, but anyway, just quickly going over the policy. It's on investments, and it governs how the district funds are invested. It does not govern funds held by the town of Kingston trustee of trust funds. But again, and kind of a quick overview of the policy and kind of the notable points made by it. The investments must be liquid. The district treasurer and superintendent shall use the prudent person standard, that's in quotes, prudent person standard, when making investment decisions. The district treasurer and superintendent shall refrain from personal business activities that create a conflict of interest. The district treasurer and superintendent shall establish a system of internal controls. The investment of funds will be left to the discretion of the finance committee without prior approval from the school board. So really, just looking for the board to reaffirm this policy or discuss it.
Or do we have to approve it?
It's
Have to
already
re-
approved.
We just have to reaffirm it.
Yeah.
I will make a motion to reaffirm policy DFA.
Second.
Right? Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you. All right, and then Tom, comfort support dog at Memorial Day.
Thank you. I just wanted to take a minute to kind of give everyone an update on the comfort dog at Memorial. As many of you know, we came back from our holiday break. I'm sorry, is my mic on? Can you hear me now? Oh, that's much better. As many of you know, we came back from our holiday break on January 6th, 2025, to find that our beloved comfort dog, Luca, was no longer at the Memorial School or at the Seacoast Learning Collaborative. I did talk with Chief DeFlumery on the afternoon of January 7th and asked him if there was any way that he could help us to have Luca back in the school while we worked on a plan to figure out what to do. I was disappointed when I was told that they could not cover the cost or find a solution to continue the support for this important program. I asked if there was a way that we could continue to have Luca in the schools even for just 6 to 8 weeks, so that the students could at least see the dog and say goodbye. And he said that he could not find any more money in support for Luca. So after that conversation, I spoke with parents, some of which are here. The Newton Town manager I spoke with at least 2 times. I spoke to the Seacoast Learning Collaborative at least 4 times. I spoke with our insurance company once, and Matt Malilla spoke with them once. I spoke with school board members, multiple administrators, and I also spoke to Officer Olje on at least 4 different occasions over a 2-week period. The situation really bothers me because I know that the positive impact Luca had for the students. We have students with trauma, emotional issues, and some struggle with abandonment, among other issues. And taking the dog away with no notice was not fair to the students or the staff. Finally, on January 16th, I met with the Newton Chief of Police along with our business administrator, Matt Malilla, Dan Doyle, our facilities and safety manager, and former Newton Chief of Police, Richard Kane. At this meeting, I was told that the ownership of Luca had been transferred to Officer Olje the night before. The transfer of ownership creates a significant challenge for moving forward. Our insurance company will not cover a private citizen's dog in the school. So this means that the following steps will need to be taken to possibly move forward. Number 1, Officer Olje would need to set up an LLC and get independent insurance coverage for Luca. Number 2, parents would have to raise money for Luca and present the money to the district in the form of a grant. The school board would then need to hear and accept the grant to cover the costs associated with Luca and vote to allow private citizens' dog in the school. It is most likely that if everything above falls into place, Luca would only remain in the Memorial School for the rest of the school year so that the students would have a closure and be able to say goodbye. The district was promised that this comfort dog would not cost the district any money when we approved allowing Luca to come into the building with Officer Olje. The current situation is that there would be a significant cost of over $12,000 annually to continue the comfort dog program. The SLC has offered to pay 40% of these costs, and I have tried unsuccessfully to work creatively with the police department. While we support Luca and having a comfort dog at the Memorial School, we cannot recommend taking on the costs associated with the comfort dog program, and it's not fair to have the comfort dog for the Memorial School and not the other schools. While it's important to remember that Fremont is leaving the district and there will be many difficult conversations and decisions to make moving forward, sadly, we cannot in good conscience recommend reducing staff while adding funds to cover the comfort dog. I would like to work with Officer Olje, and I will do anything that I can to help if he and our community can take the steps outlined above. So I have been talking to Principal Larson at the Memorial, Larkham, thank you. I don't know why. Eric Larkham, Mr. Larkham, and I talked yesterday. He talked to Mr. Olje, and he is looking into the LLC and the insurance. And I have talked to some of the folks that are here this evening, and I will give an update as soon as I know that Officer Olje has secured the LLC and the correct insurance so that we can talk about moving forward for the kids. So I am working on this actively daily. So thank you everyone for everything that you've done. And this is very difficult for me. I really value this program and the kids. So I'm trying really hard to find a creative solution. That's my update.
Thank you. Old business.
Just bullet point that real quick, because that was a lot, right?
Oh, I'm sorry. Sure.
I just want a brief bullet point.
Yep.
Layman's terms.
Mhm.
No notice provided to us whatsoever.
None.
Nobody on the school board was made aware.
Not the school board administration. No one.
Okay.
We found out on Facebook.
Understood. I just want to make sure everybody
Found
understands
out at
that.
Girl Scouts, actually.
Wherever.
Multiple attempts and multiple proposals to keep the dog and get the dog immediately back into the school were denied.
Mhm.
Okay. Multiple proposals to fund the dog prior to the transfer of ownership the night before you met with the chief of police. Those proposals were also denied.
Yes.
Okay. Just want to make sure everybody's clear.
Mhm.
Thank you.
I have one clarification question. So I was under the impression that the $12,000 was because since the dog was owned by the police department, Officer OJ was getting like a stipend, but if the dog is now his dog,
Mhm.
is that $12,000 still?
It is an absolute mess because when Officer OJ is working at the school district as a police officer, he would technically still be handling the dog on his paid time as a police officer. So it is unclear as to whether or not the standard of the federal court case that allows police officers that have a dog, they're the canine or dog handling police officers are required to receive 3.5 hours per week of compensation, half an hour a day for taking care of the dog after work.
Okay, because
The cost in the 12,000 is the overtime for that
because so we have
annually.
three therapeutic comfort dogs at our mental health facilities at the agency. Those dogs are during the working hours. We do not have to pay for those.
Because you're not police department.
Okay.
Yep. And I've read a lot of it. And it really is. I even worked with the police department and proposed, could we flex Officer OJ's hours by 3.5 hours a week so that he could work a little bit less during the day and then have that count.
Mhm.
And before I could get that all worked out, they gave the dog to OJ. So now it's super complicated. So I can't, it's really tricky because he owns the dog now. Which changed it from it being a police dog, which changes the Primex insurance because they have Primex insurance for us. I'm telling you this because I just want everyone to hear how I don't often say what I do because that's just what I do. But I have put an unbelievable amount of hours into trying to figure this out. I mean, every possible avenue that I could think of. This broke my heart for these kids. I am really upset about it. And it's not fair and it's not right. And I will continue to do whatever I can to help them. However, I don't believe that the district is in a position to take over the actual ownership or care of a dog right now. We really can't. It's OJ's dog now. And his family is used to having that dog at his house. So even if we wanted to take over the dog, we'd have to ask OJ to give us the dog for our insurance to cover it. It would have to be one of our staff. Yeah, exactly. And that's where that line is, Heather, I think, is I don't really know for a private or your organization, but it's really complicated. And I just want everyone to know how much I care and how hard this is. I hate reading these things, but I wanted this to be a pretty formal statement about what's gone on. But I want you all to know I'm really trying really hard to help the kids. So, and Sam Fahey, thank you. Right. I'll keep talking to you and we'll keep working. Right. I'm trying. I'm right in mid process though. I can't really do anything today. I can give you an update again in a couple of weeks. It really is in OJ's court right now. He has to set up the LLC and get the insurance. Then I'll know what the cost is. And then I can figure out what to do to help him.
But to be fair, OJ was handed a pile of.
Oh, yeah.
I would love to.
Yeah, it's a mess.
Go on record and say, I'm shocked and appalled at how poorly this was handled and about how reactive the decision was to take the dog out of the school, how uncollaborative it was. And I would hope, especially from someone in charge of the police department, that in the future, that relationships with the school, the administration and the school board would be more collaborative than this has been. This is, it's just shocking is the only word for this.
Second that.
There was a motion, I would say.
Yeah, it's not a motion, but you can feel free to second.
I think we all second that. And number one Thompson seconds it too. All right. School board goals for 24-25.
Thank you. I'd like to just say that some of these things have already been completed, but I'll just report out on them because we agreed to. The NEASC process has been complete. We're just waiting for the report in March. That happened in November. It was very successful. I just wanted to again thank all of the teachers for all of their hard work to create the UBD units. The committee noted the density, quality, and just sheer magnitude of the amount of work that's been done was unbelievable. Many committee members commented to me that they can't believe how much we achieved in just a 2-year period. Supporting the reading and math initiatives and programs per the strategic plan. I know that Mr. Rocher is working regularly with both of the coaches that are working to support the math initiatives in the reading program. at the K-5 level. I did want to say that I have received significant positive feedback, not only from parents, but from staff about the CKLA program this year. Yes, there are people who still don't love it, but there are people who have really said, I didn't think my kids could do this, and I can't believe how much they like it. So that it's in its second year. It takes 3 to 5 years. So we're really making progress. And I would like to invite Christine and her team to come to the next school board meeting to talk about that. I think we're due for an update from the people on the front line, not from me as the, right? I want to hear from them. I'd like Christine to come and talk about the strategic plan. So I'll talk to her about that. I think we can probably do that in the next couple of weeks. We have had some conversations. I have had conversations with people about the items under number 3, which is increasing the early college and dual enrollment opportunities, exploring and developing the high school as a vocational center, and the early childhood program for students, including childcare for staff. Unfortunately, the significant volume of work that I've been doing with the Bakey situation has overshadowed those items, but they are still right on the stove. They're not going away. They're important, and we'll keep working on them. And then I just wanted to remind everyone that in the fall, we did refine the capital improvement plan, and we're starting to work on identifying the necessary funding, and that happens in the facilities and finance committee. So we're on track, and we're doing a lot of really good things. I'm really looking forward to number 3 and developing that more, but that's a big 4 or 5 year goal. It's not a 1 year goal.
That's like
So
a strategic.
that'll be a strategic goal that will be a part of all of our work over the next few years. So I just wanted to thank everyone for everything that they're doing. We're doing a lot. You know, I did one other thing that I wanted to talk about was last Friday we had a fantastic professional development day with John Wortman. He came and spent the day with our teachers and taught them about how to give and receive feedback. So he talked about what we call the BIC model, which is where you name the behavior, you talk about the impact, and then you talk about the change. And we talked about how to do that for students. And we also talked about how to do that in our professional learning communities. And the feedback from staff, anecdotally, I always stand by the door as they're leaving. They were like, this was really practical and really helpful. So that was a really nice feeling that day. So I want to thank Mr. Rocher and John Wortman and the whole team for putting on a great PD day last Friday. Thank you.
And just a quick question. Yeah. Accreditation. I know one of the things they talked about was we had to update our.
Mhm.
So is that something Christine will be bringing to the board?
Yeah, Christine will actually probably I'll ask her to clarify when she comes in, but there'll probably need to be another committee like there was before. And then that committee would then bring it to the board. I think it's going to be a bit of a process over the next 6 months.
Okay.
It's not a major overhaul, but it is a change because they wanted to see some of the how do you teach those things? Where are they in the curriculum? And so I talked to them a lot about that.
Yeah, that came up in the interview when I was in there.
Oh yeah. Yep. Yep.
I don't want to forget about that because
Yeah.
important.
It is. Yeah. She's right on top of it, as
Perfect.
always.
Awesome. All right. Okay. Second public comment.
We're adjourning.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the next meeting agenda. So the filing period for positions on the Sanborn Regional School Board, the Sanborn Regional Budget Committee, and the district moderator will open on Wednesday, today, January 22nd, 2025, and end on Friday, January 31st, 2025 at 5 p.m. Candidate filing forms may be obtained at the SAU office from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. located in the Christie Building at 51 Church Street in Kingston. School district clerk will be available on the last day to file until 5 p.m. The next Sanborn Regional School Board meeting will be held prior to the first session of the annual school district meeting, the deliberative session, on Wednesday, February 5th, 2025 at 6 p.m. in the library at the Sanborn Regional High School. The first session of the annual school district meeting, the deliberative, will be held on Wednesday, February 5th, 2025 at 7 p.m. in the auditorium at the Sanborn Regional High School. The Sanborn Regional Budget Committee will meeting will convene at the first session of the annual school district meeting, deliberative session, Wednesday, February 5th, 2025 at 7 p.m. So February 5th is a big date. School board meeting, 6 p.m. And then the deliberative session for the school board budget committee will be at 7 p.m. So school board meeting in the library here, and the rest of it will be in the auditorium. And then We are not going into non-public. We are adjourning the meeting, correct? All right, meeting adjourned.